Tara, right now I'm standing underneath the I-95 Overland Bridge project, and this is where those road construction crews keep all of their equipment. But the problem spot that I want to show you is actually right above us. Now I want you to take a look through our mast camera. There you will see two steel beams, and right next to those beams is a dip in the interstate, and that is what some drivers say needs to be fixed before someone gets hurt. The drive up I-95 into downtown Jacksonville isn't as smooth as it used to be.
You lose control so fast.
Valencia Johnson prepares for the worst every time she hits this, a dip in the interstate just north of the Atlantic Boulevard on-ramp.
If you don't have your hand on that wheel to really hold and brace for it, it will drive your car to the side.
Action News was the first station to tell you about a major mistake made in this very spot by FDOT in January. Emergency repairs were required when construction equipment shifted the ground and cracked the interstate.
It was brought up to a safe level, but there's a little bit of a rideability issue.
I took your concerns to FDOT's Lori Sanderson.
It's definitely not a safety issue.
Sanderson says contractors have measured this dip every week since that crack was filled.
There's no change in the foundation, and the measurements have not changed at all. The dip actually has not gotten any larger.
And there's another change.
At the 45-mile-per-hour speed limit, it's not too bad.
So I put it to the test, and at exactly 45 miles per hour, this is what it looks like. Oh. Johnson isn't convinced slowing down is the answer. She believes more repairs are needed.
If they can fix it as soon as possible, that would be great.
Flyers hang in store windows across the west side. Notice of a terrible crime against a woman who can't hear.
It's cruel. It's unbelievable. He had a distinct look.
The robber's face is burned into Elizabeth Malaw's memory, a 20-year-old art student who lost her hearing because of a tumor. Expensive surgeries left her unable to afford more than one outdated hearing aid. But this year, a miracle.
My other one is probably half this size.
Malaw won a much-needed $5,000 replacement pair at a raffle. Now they're both gone.
I had just started my first day on the job.
Malaw was walking home last Friday night when three men pulled up beside her.
They're yelling at me from the car. I don't hear them. I don't have my hearing aids in.
One man jumped out and rushed towards her. Malaw froze when she saw him.
He just pointed the gun in my face, grabbed my purse off my shoulder, ran back in the car, and then they backed off.
Malaw's heart sank when she realized they also got her brand new hearing aids, programmed just for her. And now she's virtually unable to hear anything.
I was like, would you guys hang this up in your window?
It's a long shot, but she's hoping someone somewhere recognizes this sketch or finds a little black box with a pink hearing aid that she can't afford to replace.
Eventually, you're going to get caught.
Air traffic control. It's an industry where Eric Jaguar saw opportunity.
The first thing I heard was the need for it and how they're going to be hiring a huge wave of people. That's when I jumped into it.
But even though there's a need, the FAA probably won't be hiring these students anytime soon.
Right now, we're feeling the effects of the sequestration.
Sam Fisher says the problem started years ago when thousands of air traffic controllers were fired for going on strike. Now the replacements are being forced to retire. The FAA planned to phase in more than 6,000 new controllers, like these students, in the next 4 years. But then came a hiring freeze.
If they have a severe enough shortage, let's say, then again what you would see is delays.
Roger, Memphis Center, report 25 north of Sidon.
Controllers are already challenged with long, demanding shifts, and Fisher says fewer of them is a major safety risk.
The FAA is not going to let the traveling public be unsafe. We're going to keep airplanes apart and all that, but they may get overloaded, and so the way to deal with that is that you slow airplanes down.
That means travelers will likely deal with long delays and cancellations, even though future controllers are eager to begin work.
It is very frustrating. We already know the airspaces and so forth are saturated, and we just need people, I guess, in the industry.
Thousands of papers everywhere. It's hard to see what they are in the dark, but in the light of day, look at this. I found checks with bank accounts, invoices blowing all over parts of downtown. As I was digging through the mess, we caught more documents being thrown out of this former E.H. Thompson Company building.
That stuff should be shredded. It's just personal information, and it could cause a lot of identity theft.
Neighbors like Brenda Jackson were shocked to see what I found. And when I went to the people working in the building, I got a response you probably don't want to hear.
People's numbers and names and everything else on it.
We are about to finish that tomorrow. Nothing too bad, just few pieces of paper.
A few pieces of paper? Try thousands, full of personal information. Information that was just blowing in the wind down Jacksonville's main street. I even captured these photos of someone picking up a few and just walking off with them. One neighbor even told me he found someone's medical records blocks away.
Yes, I'm looking for some information.
I called the company in charge of the workers. Within 5 minutes of my call to Zona and Associates, a change in tune. Employees went right into cleanup mode. But after 2 weeks on the job, neighbors question whose personal information already blew away.
It can get in anybody's hands.
Blood still stains the sidewalk of an abandoned building on the west side, where this homeless man, 54-year-old Thomas Trent, was murdered in June. Action News was there the morning he was found shot in the head. And now police say Sharon Townsend pulled the trigger. He is only 12 years old.
He admitted to shooting a handgun.
Police say Townsend is one of the boys seen here in surveillance video that we first showed you days after the murder.
I knew they were very young.
The video was taken from the front of Leslie Linton's office.
They were just kind of walking, didn't seem like they had a care or a problem.
But 6 minutes later, Linton says the boys were caught on camera again in this back alley.
They hightailed it that way, and they had shirts covering their face.
Police say there was no motive.
I've watched them go on and on and on.
But this man, nicknamed Wolverine, who stays nearby, tells me he witnessed the boys and Trent fighting for weeks.
They come by and would throw stuff on him when he's passed out. And he would cuss him, throw stuff at him. Then they started urinating on him and pouring cokes on him. So he got mad and started throwing rocks at him, and I think he hit one of them.
But Dawn McNabb says her brother didn't deserve to die.
Thomas had a heart of gold.
And now she and neighbors are glad someone is behind bars.
Justice. I mean, they're going to get what's coming to them.
Either way you look at it, it's a very big tragedy for our community.
As Arthur churns directly off Jacksonville's coast, waves are pounding the shoreline. It's even worse further out. Offshore is off limits for Captain Bill Kerr.
You don't want to be out in that.
Kerr took Action News to the St. Augustine Inlet Wednesday for a first-hand look at the dangerous conditions that are forcing most boaters to stay docked. The Coast Guard is warning them to stay inshore if they dare get on the water at all. And here's why. For nearly an hour, we endured the impact of 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts combined with 6-foot seas.
Right here, it's 5 to 6 feet. And the further you go offshore, it would just get rougher. No place for any real inexperienced boater, and there's no point in being there really at all.
This is the furthest point Kerr would take us. The brunt of every powerful wave soon forced us to turn around. This is the risk on the water through Thursday, a risk Kerr won't be taking again.
It could be life-threatening, you know. Most people with any common sense wouldn't leave the dock.
Hey. Oh, stop.
Kerr LaJudas shows a love and trust that few can fully understand.
Oh, yes.
These animals are a part of our life.
Which is why the operator of the Caddyshack Ranch is so horrified.
It's a very sad situation.
By what has played out near Columbus, Ohio.
These animals have feelings, they have a heart.
Nearly 50 escaped exotic animals, now dead, including tigers, lions, and bears. The animal's owner released them from their cages before taking his own life.
I had deputies that had to shoot animals with their sidearms at close range. That's how volatile this situation was. We are not talking about your normal, everyday house cat or dog. These are 300-pound Bengal tigers that we've had to put down.
This big cat lover wishes there was another way, besides pulling the trigger of a gun. But he tells Action News there were no other realistic options.
Unfortunately, tranquilizers don't act like everybody sees on cartoons and on TV, where it's just immediate. It does take time.
Time officers did not have. LaJudas just wishes the owner of those exotic animals in Ohio would have thought about his beloved pets, even in his darkest hour.
You would hope that someone would be able to go ahead and leave these animals to where other rescues like ourselves could go in and take these animals and give them a forever home.
Baby, it's your boy J-Dash.
From an office in Ponte Vedra, J-Dash speaks to millions of his fans.
I need you to be there.
It's the same place where earlier this week he opened up a USA Today.
Very handsome guy right here.
And saw himself.
I'm a WAP star.
But it wasn't until recently that the self-taught musician's career took a whopping turn, thanks to a dance video filmed in Atlantic Beach. Within weeks, the WAP inspired thousands of YouTube fan videos that together have been viewed 50 million times.
When we shot the video, I sort of knew in the back of my mind that this is something we sort of have to get control over now.
before it really explodes.
Sure enough, the Billboard and iTunes chart-topping song made J-Dash America's #1 new artist.
Every day I wake up, it's something new. I get some more good news.
This week was no exception. USA Today featured the release of his second music video. Set in the year 2099, the Transformer restores social media sites banned by the government. Sites he says he uses nearly 16 hours a day.
Man, I'm gonna microwave my leg off one of these days.
Which is why he has millions of fans of all ages across the globe.
It's always great to meet new fans and to interact with them, and I do that through social media.
Who today hope the real J-Dash is really here to stay.
Now, I'm gonna be here for a minute. I got a lot to show you.
In Ponte Vedra, Amanda Warford, Fox 30 Action News.
The city of Jacksonville has funding allotted for improvement projects like this one. In this case, aging infrastructure is the reason why an old pipe burst, causing the ground to cave in. But this small section of repairs you're looking at right now is a costly fix and just one of many that taxpayers are responsible for.
Old pipes replaced by new ones. The cave-in they caused in front of this Northwest Jacksonville home has been filled. It may look like a big muddy mess now, but come next week,
This is what it looked like inside that car. There's barely enough room to move. Neighbors are convinced they witnessed a miracle.
Car's done, and at least they're okay.
Peyton Rogers purchased this rundown Riverside home 8 months ago.
We have to put some lipstick on this pig.
As the sun sets, the water is calm. But lurking beneath is this guy.
Neighbors living here on nearby Ovington Road face the same problem. They're without power too, and are helping each other out.